Shannon, and this is my developmentally appropriate practices integrated study, Sunburst. My topic is insects, the study of insects. My big ideas are, I'll start with the first one, is metamorphosis. Insects change, they go through 4 stages. They start as eggs, they hatch into larvae, then they wrap themselves up into pupa or chrysalis, and then when they hatch, they're adults, and then the cycle starts again. My next big idea is that insects have characteristics. They have 3 body parts: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. They have 6 legs, 2 antennae, and a majority of them have wings. My third big idea is that there are different kinds of insects. There are annoying insects like mosquitoes and flies. There are beautiful insects like butterflies. There are some insects that sing like crickets. And then there are interesting insects like leaf bugs and stick bugs. And then my next insects have jobs. Some insects, it's their job to pollinate flowers. Their job is pollination. And others, their job is to break down garbage into compost. And then my final big idea is that insects live everywhere. They are on every continent, but they prefer warm weather. They live in hives, burrows, trees, and some of them even live in the water. Some live in colonies, like ants and bees, and other insects live alone. So those are my big ideas. For my large motor skill, I have a game called The Flight of the Bumblebee, and that is a hot potato game that you play the music, Flight of the Bumblebee, and when the music stops, the child that has the beanbag is out or stung, and then they have to sit in the middle of the group until the next turn. For science, I have an ant farm observation, a butterfly garden, because you can get the butterfly, you can get the kits where they can observe the caterpillars as they turn from caterpillar to chrysalis and then hatch into adults, and then you release them into the wild, and those are neat to explore and see. I have an experiment here called How to Attract Ants. It's an experiment, and it goes along with a discussion about how to attract ants down here in language. And I thought that would be a fun thing to do as well. And then, with the observations, it's great to have an observation journal for the kids to look at, to make their own observations and draw what they think in it. For fine motor sensory, I have butterfly lacing, and then I thought it would be cool to build an insect out of Play-Doh. You can roll the Play-Doh into 3 balls for the 3 sections: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, and then they can add legs or whatever. For art and aesthetics, I have cork bugs, which I thought if you got little corks and different art supplies like pipe cleaners and eyeballs, the googly eyes, glitter, just whatever, and everyone can build their own insect. You can do it out of paper mache if you really want to get that messy. Or if you don't want to get messy at all, you can always buy the cootie bug game, and that would be fun to build insects with. I have down here family involvement. Some families like to, grow honey. Maybe they have a beehive. Maybe they can bring insects from home. All good ideas. For math, I have a counting ants game. I have a butterfly pattern game. I found kind of a geometric bug pattern game where you take little geometric shapes and you have to put them on the bug card and do it the right way. For music and movement, obviously the Eensy Weensy Spider game. I found one called Head, Thorax, Abdomen, and that sounds a lot like Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes to me, which is always fun. And obviously the Ants Go Marching is a fun song. For cooking, I found, ants on a log. Everyone loves that. And I thought it was neat, a pollinated fruit salad, which is really cool. For language, I have the how to attract the ant discussion, what bug is missing would be a fun game. So that's what I have. I have a KWL chart, which is know, want to know, and learn, which would be fun. And for my books, I just put 3 books here, but I'm sure there are so many more that I would use if I was teaching this to a preschool class. Are You a Grasshopper? Hey Little Ant, and The Very Hungry Caterpillar, one of my favorites. For social studies, I thought having insect dress-ups in the dress-up would be fun. Plastic insects in the blocks. You can do pretend to be ants and bees working together. They all have different jobs. And then for trips, I thought an insect nature trip and a nature walk, and then maybe a nature walk a walk to the community garden to see the ants to look for insects would be a good idea also. So thank you. Hopefully this is not too big to put on my to turn in. Thanks.